So why should South Korea make a monster movie? Exportability. The success of Japanese kaiju movies overseas in Europe, South America, and especially North America could not be ignored even in 1967. So this leads to where and when and how this movie was made, and which is a truly fascinating story. This film was deliberately made and sanctioned by the South Korean government to broaden South Korea's international interests, in particular with arts and cultures. In this case, it was a movie. Now, Korea in general, not just South Korea, but Korea in general, was a different place in 1967 than it is today. In the time when this film was in production, South Korea was run by a dictator, Park Chung-hee, but he was also unbelievably anti-Japanese. Anti-Japanese sentiments were rampant in South Korea at this time, as they were desperately trying to find a new identity in of themselves. One such thing that the South Koreans were doing were often destroying a lot of these Japanese buildings because they resembled Japanese architecture. South Korea wanted to make their own architecture at this time. That was just one of the examples. So Yongary was made from the beginning to be an exportable film that deliberately will take South Korean cinemas overseas. In some ways, in a way similar to how Godzilla was made to help make Japanese cinema more exportable. And believe it or not, Yongary, it kind of worked. Though, at least here in the States, it wasn't released in cinemas, it certainly was played on television frequently. AIP Television released it. I guess it did have some theatrical releases over in Europe and South America. And actually, I think that this is arguably the first widespread South Korean movie to make it internationally at all. And that's something to be said for this little movie that could. But if this was the goal of the film, was to sort of spread South Korean culture